think I might want to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to say something too. I think.
Right?
Go.
There you go.
Yeah. Go, cutie. You're gonna rock it.
Do I just push the button? Oh.
Obviously, sorry.
Okay, sweetie.
Uncle Mark has been a baseline my entire life, you know? He's always been there. Pretty much anytime I needed advice, I'd almost always talk to him. You know, of course, talk to mom and dad and stuff, but, you know, it's just something he just always seemed like he knew the answers to everything. And I every time I had a question about it, it didn't matter what it was, I would always ask him. And he always, even if he didn't know the answer, he would always have some sort of like perfect response, you know? And I'm like, shit, I don't know why I didn't think of that. It's just so, you know, and you know, it's recently, was working at Amazon, and I was stuck in a place of, I need more money because I couldn't afford where I was living, but I could either move out of there or get a better job that I actually wanted, but I was terrified to get this new job because it's, you know, gasoline deliveries and stuff, and I was warned it was like one of the most dangerous jobs you can get, trucking. And I called him and asked what he thought, and you know, he said to me, he's like, well, you know, he puts the options out. He's like, well, you know, is it gonna be, you know, is it gonna benefit your life? Or, you know, are you going to be happier outside of work? And, you know, I was like, well, he'd ask me the questions and then, you know, go through it and be like, well, and he'd be like, well, it sounds to me like it's gonna be a better move for you. And then he's like, and he said to me, this is what stuck with me. He goes, you could die walking out of your front door. He's like, you know, it's just, don't live your life with any regrets. That's basically what he said. And I don't, like, you know, you hear that before, but for some reason it just resonated so hard, and I did it. I took the job, and I've been doing it ever since, and I'm so glad that I actually listened to his advice, because it's, you know, it's the best job I've ever had. And it's been life-changing for me, but it's also, you know, he taught me a lot of my morals, you know, because, you know, it's our family has a history of anger problems. Let's be real, we get angry pretty easy. So, you know, I used to talk to him, and I feel, you know, I'd vent about random stuff, and he was always like, well, let's, you know, Uncle Mark was not always the calmest person, and he's telling me, he's like, well, let's take a step back here, because he's like, you know, you're getting this angry about it. He's like, it's not that big a deal, man. He's like, just cool. You know, he didn't say that, but, you know, that's basically the vibe that I got from him. And it was just really funny to hear this man. You know, I used to live with him. Oh man, when we lived together, you know, I used to run him up a tree. He used to get so angry sometimes. You know? But I keep finding myself wanting to call him and ask him for advice, and, you know, but he's given me a lot of information to go off of, you know, to kind of guide myself, you know. He's given me the instructions, so I'm very thankful for that, and I'm glad I spoke to him as much as I did, because you know, I learned so much from him. Remember, there's one time, you know this story. We went to Cherokee when he used to have the old Jeep. We went out to go fishing one day. We used to go fishing all the time, and There was one time we were in the car, we went out, you know, we were packing up all of our stuff, and I remember thinking like, oh, I really don't want to leave, you know, like I don't want to leave. I was like, you know, is it okay if we just kind of like sit here and talk, you know? And me and him sat there and talked in that old Cherokee for like, I think like 2 hours or something like that. We just chatted, and then from then on, it was like we just always had that like bond, and we always would just talk for hours, you know. There was a point where we didn't talk very much, just because things got busy and stuff. But I learned a lot from him, and I'm really thankful that I was able to spend the time that I had with him.
That's good.
I don't really know what else to say. Yeah.
Thank you, sweetie.